beloved soul, pause for a moment, because what you are about to hear is not sluche adikakui nor este yeri. It is divine orchestration. You did not stumble upon this message. You were guided here, chosen in this exact moment, on this exact day, for a reason that goes deeper than anything you have ever imagined. There is a spiritual urgency surrounding you right now, and it cannot be ignored any longer. May 26th is not just another date on the calendar. It is a marked moment in the heavens, a day when spiritual doors begin to open, when hidden truths rise to the surface, and when what was buried in silence can no longer remain concealed. And you, yes, you listening to this right now, are at the center of it. Something has been kept from you. Something deeply personal. Something connected to your family truth that was never meant to reach your ears. For years, perhaps even generations, this secret has been carefully hidden, covered in silence, protected by fear, and sealed with unspoken agreements. But heaven has intervened. The time of silence is over. Right now, as you listen, 3 divine messengers have been assigned to you. 3 angels, each carrying a piece of a revelation so powerful that it will shift your understanding of your past, your identity, and your purpose. They have been trying to reach you, in your thoughts, in your dreams, in those quiet moments when something inside you whispered, "There's more, something isn't right." Have you felt it? That subtle uneasy sense that parts of your story never fully made sense. A certain thing were avoided, certain question left unanswered, certain truth just out of reach. That is not your imagination. That is your spirit recognizing what your mind was never told. And now, the veil is thinning. But listen carefully, this revelation is not coming to harm you. It is coming to free you. Because what within it was not just a secret, it was a weight, a burden carried through bloodlines, passed down in silence, shaping lives without anyone fully understanding why. And you are the one chosen to break it. Standing at the forefront of this divine intervention is the mighty Archangel Michael, the protector, the warrior of light, the one who stands against deception and brings truth into the open. His presence around you right now is not sluche adikakui no. He is guarding you as this revelation begins to unfold, ensuring that no harm comes to your spirit as the truth rises. But here is the part that may shake you. The closer you get to this truth, the more resistance you may feel. Doubt may creep in. Fear may whisper for you to turn away. You may even feel an urge to dismiss this message altogether. That is not sluche adikakui no either. Because whenever truth is about to be revealed, especially a truth that has been buried for so long, there will always be forces, both within and around you, that try to keep it hidden. Do not turn away, because this is your moment. A once-in-a-lifetime unveiling. A divine interruption meant to wake you up, to open your eyes, and to guide you towards something that has always belonged to you: clarity, freedom, and truth. Stay with this message, because what the first angel is about to reveal will begin to change everything you thought you knew. There is a reason why this moment feels different, why something inside you has been quietly stirring, as if your spirit has been waiting for a signal. That signal is here now. May 26th is not random. It is a divinely appointed threshold, a day written long before you were born, when heaven aligns to release what has been sealed. Long before you took your first breath, your name was known in the spiritual realm. Your path, your struggles, your questions, all of it was seen. And on this specific day, something shifts. The unseen begins to touch the seen. The hidden begins to surface. And what was once locked away in silence begins to echo loudly in your soul. You may have noticed it already. The signs have been subtle, but persistent. Repeating thoughts that don't feel like your own. dreams that feel too real to ignore, moments where you felt watched over, yet unable to explain why. These are not coincidences. These are divine signals, gentle nudges from the spiritual realm, preparing you for what is about to unfold. Because when heaven marks a moment like this, it does not happen quietly. There has been a buildup, an invisible preparation happening around you. Certain events in your life, certain conversations, even certain conflicts, they were not SLUJADIKAKINO. They were positioning you, aligning you, bringing you to this exact point where you are ready, whether you realize it or not, to face what has been hidden. And here is the truth that may feel overwhelming at first. This revelation was always meant for you, but it could not have come earlier. Not when you were younger, not when you were less aware, because the truth you are about to encounter carries weight. It carries emotion. It carries the power to shift how you see everything: your past, your family, and even yourself. Heaven waited until you were strong enough. And now, you are. There is something sacred about divine timing. It does not rush, and it does not delay. It moves with precision. And right now, everything is aligned. The spiritual realm has opened a window, and through it, light is beginning to enter the darkest corners of what was once hidden. But understand this: when truth begins to rise, it does not always come gently. Sometimes it stirs emotions you were not expecting. Sometimes it brings confusion before clarity. And sometimes it challenges everything you thought was certain. That is why you may feel a tension building inside you, a quiet pull between curiosity and hesitation. A tension is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that you are standing at the edge of revelation. The first angel has already drawn near. You may not see them with your physical eyes, but your spirit recognizes their presence. This angel carries a specific role, the keeper of truth. And their purpose is not to overwhelm you all at once, but to begin unveiling the first layer of what had been hidden. But before that truth is spoken, there is something you must understand clearly. This is not about exposing your family to shame. This is not about or blame. This is about release. Because secrets like this do not just sit quietly in the past, they shape the future. They influence decisions, relationships, and even the way love is given and received. And until they are brought into the light, they continue to hold power. You were never meant to live under that weight. And that is why you were chosen. Out of everyone, out of every generation, it is you who have been given this moment. Not because you are perfect, but because you are willing, even if you don't fully realize it yet. There is something within you, a strength, a sensitivity, a spiritual awareness, that makes you capable of carrying this truth without being destroyed by it. And as this unfolds, you will not be alone. The presence of Archangel Michael remains strong around you, like a shield you cannot see but can feel. His energy is steady, unwavering, ensuring that as the truth approaches, you are protected from fear, from confusion, and from anything that does not serve your highest good. So do not resist what you feel right now. Lean into it. Because what the first angel is about to reveal is not SLUJADIKAKINO. It is the beginning of something that will change everything, not by breaking you, but by finally setting you free. There is a sacred stillness surrounding you now, a moment where everything seems to pause, as if the world itself is holding its breath. This is not imagination. This is the arrival of the first messenger, the one who carries truth in its purest form. The keeper of what was hidden. The one who has watched silently as generations carried a secret that was never meant to remain buried forever. This angel does not come with chaos. It comes with clarity. You may feel it already, a shift in your chest, a quiet heaviness mixed with curiosity. That is your spirit recognizing truth before your mind can fully understand it. Because the truth being revealed now is not entirely new to your soul. A part of you has always known, but it was covered, suppressed, pushed aside by the voices and structures around you. The first angel begins not with loud declarations, but with a whisper that echoes deeply. What you were told is not the full story. Let that settle within you. There is something within your family's past that was altered not necessarily through lies spoken loudly, but through silence maintained carefully. A truth was softened, reshaped, or completely hidden to protect someone, to avoid pain, or to prevent something from coming to light. And over time, that silence became normal. It became tradition. It became something no one questioned anymore. But your spirit questioned it. Think back, there were moments, even in your childhood, where something didn't quite align. Maybe it was a story that changed slightly depending on who told it. Maybe it was a tension you could feel but never understood. Maybe it was a name that was never mentioned, a topic that made others uncomfortable, or a question that was quickly dismissed. Those were not sluchatikakino moments. Those were clues. The first angel is now bringing those scattered pieces together. Not to confuse you, but to show you that there has always been a gap between what was presented and what is real. And that gap is where the truth lies. This truth may be connected to identity, to origins, to something that changes the way you see your place within your family. It may involve a decision that was made long ago, one that altered the course of lives, including yours, without your knowledge. And while it was done with reasons that may have seemed necessary at the time, it created a ripple effect that has reached you now. But listen carefully, this is important. The angel is not revealing this to create anger within you. It is not awakening you to pain for the sake of suffering. It is awakening you because truth, even when it is heavy, is the only path to real freedom. And you have carried something that was never fully explained. Have you ever felt like you didn't completely belong, even in places where you were supposed to feel at home? Have you ever felt a quiet disconnect, as if a part of your story was missing or unclear? That feeling was not weakness. It was awareness. It was your inner self sensing that something was incomplete. Now, that missing piece is beginning to move toward you. The first angel shows you this not all at once, but like a light slowly filling a dark room. You begin to see outline shapes, connections that were invisible before. And as this happens, emotions may rise: confusion, disbelief, even resistance. That is natural. Because when a truth has been hidden for so long, the mind tries to protect itself by questioning it. But your spirit knows the difference between fear and truth. And right now, it is guiding you to stay open. You are not being betrayed by this revelation. You are being entrusted with it. And standing beside you, unwavering and powerful, is Archangel Michael. His presence is not distant. It is immediate. He stands as a protector of your heart, ensuring that as this truth unfolds, it does not break you, but instead strengthens you. His sword is not raised in destruction, but in defense, cutting away confusion, fear, and illusion so that only truth remains. You are safe in this moment. Even if your emotions begin to shift, even if questions start rising faster than answers, you are being guided step by step. Nothing is being revealed without purpose. Nothing is sluchatikakino. And this is only the beginning. Because what the first angel has opened within you cannot be closed again. The door has been unlocked. The silence has been broken. And what follows will take you even deeper into understanding not just what was hidden, but why. Before we go further, receive this moment fully. Type "I accept the truth" in the comments if you feel this message awakening something within you. Blessing code 317 is now activated over your life. And as this truth begins to take root in your spirit, understand this: there is a greater mission unfolding through this very revelation. When you choose to support this message, you are not simply giving. You are becoming a vessel through which light reaches others who are still in darkness. The word says, "What is done in secret will be brought to light, and through your obedience, that light multiplies." If you feel called, you can release your seed through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link placed in the description and shown as a QR code within this space. This is not a SLUCHAIKAKUNO invitation. It is a divine opportunity to align your action with heaven's movement. As you give, you are watering the soil of countless souls who are waiting for truth just like you. And hear this clearly: what you release in faith, heaven returns in abundance. Step into this moment. Act now. There is something heavy about silence, something that lingers far beyond the moment it is created. Silence, when used to protect truth, does not disappear, it settles. It becomes part of the atmosphere, part of the energy within a family, shaping conversations, behaviors, and even emotions in ways that no one fully understands. And this is where your story begins to deepen. Because what was hidden from you was not only concealed through words left unspoken, it was preserved through a pattern of silence that became normal over time. At first, it may not have seemed intentional. Perhaps it began with a single decision, someone choosing not to reveal something painful, something complicated, or something they believed would cause harm if exposed. A decision may have felt justified in the moment. It may have even been made out of love or fear or desperation. But silence has a way of growing. What starts as protection slowly transforms into avoidance. What begins as a single omission becomes a web of carefully maintained distance around a truth that no one wants to confront. And before long, that silence becomes a shield not just for one person, but for an entire family system. You may have felt this without knowing why. Moments where conversations would subtly shift when certain topics came close to the surface. Expressions that didn't match the words being spoken. A sense that there were things everyone understood but no one acknowledged openly. These are the fingerprints of hidden truth. And you, whether you realized it or not, were sensitive to it. There is a reason why you could feel what others ignored. A reason why certain energies made you uncomfortable, even when nothing seemed outwardly wrong. You were not imagining it. You were perceiving what had been buried beneath layers of silence. Because silence does not erase truth. It protects it until the moment it can no longer be contained. And that moment has arrived. The first angel revealed that what you were told was incomplete. Now, this next layer shows you how that incompleteness was maintained. It was not SLUCHAIKAKUNO. It was structured. It was sustained through years of choosing not to speak, not to question, not to disrupt what had been accepted as normal. But here is where it becomes even more important for you to understand: the silence was never truly about you. It may feel personal now, as the realization begins to settle in. It may feel like something was taken from you, like a part of your story was withheld unfairly. And those feelings are valid. But the origin of this silence did not begin with a desire to harm you. It began with fear. Fear of consequences. Fear of judgment. Fear of losing control over how things appeared. And sometimes fear of facing the truth itself. So instead of confronting it, it was buried, governed, passed down quietly, generation after generation, until it reached you. But unlike those before you, you are not meant to carry it in silence. You are the interruption, the one who feels too deeply to ignore it. the one who questions what others accepted, the one who cannot fully rest until truth is brought into the light. That is not SLUCHADIKAKINO. It is your assignment. And with that assignment comes a shift. Because once you begin to see the pattern, you cannot unsee it. Once you recognize the silence, you begin to hear what was never spoken. You start to notice the spaces between words, the pauses that hold meaning, the emotions that were never expressed. This awareness is powerful, but it can also feel overwhelming. You may find yourself revisiting memories, reinterpreting moments, questioning things you once accepted without hesitation. This is part of the process. It is not meant to confuse you. It is meant to realign your understanding with truth. And through all of this, you are not left unprotected. The presence of Archangel Michael remains steady, like a shield surrounding your spirit. He stands in the space between what was hidden and what is being revealed, ensuring that you are not consumed by the weight of it. His role is not only to expose truth, but to guard your heart as you receive it. Because truth, when it first emerges, can feel sharp. It can challenge what you believed. It can stir emotions that were buried alongside the secret itself. But over time, that same truth becomes something else, something freeing, something stabilizing, something that allows you to finally stand on solid ground instead of uncertain foundations. And this is where you are being led, out of silence and into clarity. But understand this: as the silence begins to break, resistance may grow stronger, not just within you but around you. Because when a long-held truth begins to surface, it disrupts everything that was built to keep it hidden. Stay grounded. Do not let doubt pull you back into what is comfortable but incomplete. Do not let fear convince you that it is easier not to know. Because what is ahead is not destruction, it is revelation. And what is being revealed is leading you closer to a truth that will reshape everything. There is a shift happening now, a movement in the spiritual realm that feels stronger, more direct, almost undeniable. What was once subtle is becoming clear. What once whispered is now beginning to speak with authority. And this is because the second messenger has arrived. This is not like the first presence you felt. The first angel came gently, unveiling truth piece by piece, allowing your spirit to adjust, to awaken. But the second angel carries a different energy, one of release, of breaking, of movement. This is the angel assigned to shatter what has held that truth in place for so long. The breaker of chains has stepped forward. You may feel this as a sudden intensity within you, a restlessness, a sense that something can no longer stay the way it has been. This is not SLUCHADIKAKINO. This is the moment where what was hidden is no longer just being revealed. It is being loosened from its grip. Because truth alone is not enough if it remains bound. And what has been hidden in your family was not only concealed, it was protected by invisible chains. Chains of fear, chains of loyalty, chains of unspoken agreements that said, "Do not go there, do not question this, do not uncover what has already been decided." These chains were never written down, but they were understood. You may have felt them without realizing it. A hesitation when asking certain questions. An instinct to stay quiet even when something felt off. That subtle pressure to accept things as they were, even when your spirit resisted. Those were the chains. And now, they are breaking. The second angel does not ask for permission. It moves with divine authority, dismantling what was built to keep truth locked away. And as this happens, you may begin to feel a mix of emotions that seem to rise all at once. Clarity, yes, but also discomfort, even tension. Because breaking chains is not always quiet. It disrupts patterns and challenges what was accepted. It forces movement where there was once stillness. And for those who were comfortable within the silence, this shift may feel unsettling. But for you it is necessary. You were never meant to stay bound by something you did not choose. You were never meant to carry the weight of decisions made in secrecy. And now, that weight is being lifted, not all at once, but in a way that allows you to step into your truth without being overwhelmed by it. The second angel brings you closer to understanding not just that something was hidden, but how it affected you. Think about the patterns in your life, the moments where you felt held back, unsure, disconnected from something you couldn't quite define. The relationships that felt strained without clear reason. The internal battles that seemed to come from nowhere. These were not isolated experiences. They were connected. Because when truth is hidden within a family, it does not stay contained in one place. It spreads quietly, influencing behaviors, shaping emotions, creating patterns that repeat without explanation. And you were living within those patterns without ever being shown their origin. Until now. This is where everything begins to shift. The second angel is not only breaking chains, it is revealing their existence to you. Showing you that what you experienced was not SLUCHERADICAQUENO, not imagined, not something you created within yourself. It had roots. It had a source. And now, those roots are being exposed. This is where your power begins to return. Because once you see the chains, once you understand them, they no longer have control over you. You are no longer moving blindly within patterns you don't understand. You are stepping into awareness, into clarity, into freedom. But listen closely, this moment requires courage. Because as chains break, there may be a part of you that feels uncertain. A part that wonders if it is easier to go back, to stay within what is familiar, even if it was incomplete. That voice is not your truth. It is the echo of what kept the chains in place. Do not follow it. You are being led forward. And standing firmly beside you in this moment of breaking and release is Archangel Michael. His presence is not passive. It is active, powerful, unwavering. He stands as a guardian over this transition, ensuring that every chain that falls away does so without causing harm to your spirit. His sword moves not in destruction, but in precision, cutting away what no longer belongs to you, what was never meant to define you, what was placed upon you without your knowing. You are not losing anything in this process. You are reclaiming yourself. And as these chains continue to break, you will begin to feel something new, something lighter, something clearer. A sense that you are no longer carrying what once weighed you down. This is the beginning of freedom. But the journey is not complete yet. Because once the chains are broken, once the truth is no longer bound, there is something even deeper that must be revealed. Something that will connect everything you have felt, everything you have questioned, and everything that has been hidden. And that revelation is closer than you think. There is a quiet realization beginning to settle within you now, something that feels both unfamiliar and deeply known at the same time. As the chains loosen and the truth begins to breathe, you may find yourself looking back, not with confusion anymore, but with a growing sense of recognition. Things that once felt random are starting to connect. Moments that seemed insignificant are beginning to carry meaning. This is not SLUCHERADICAQUENO. This is awareness awakening. Because long before this moment, long before the first angel whispered truth and the second began to break what held it captive, there were signs. Subtle, consistent, undeniable signs that you were never meant to remain unaware. You have been receiving signals for a long time. Think about the dreams you couldn't fully explain. Not ordinary dreams. but the kind that stayed with you after you woke up, the kind that felt like messages rather than imagination. Faces, places, or emotions that didn't quite belong to your present reality, yet felt strangely familiar. Those were not SLUCHAIHIKAKINO visions. They were glimpses, your spirit trying to process what your conscious mind had not yet been told. And then there were your instincts, that quiet inner voice that spoke without words, the feeling that something wasn't adding up, even when everything around you seemed normal. You may have dismissed it at times, told yourself you were overthinking, or tried to ignore it altogether. But it never fully went away, did it? Because it wasn't meant to. That voice was your connection to truth. There were also moments when you felt an unexplainable pull, a desire to ask questions, to dig deeper, to understand something that no one else seemed interested in exploring. You may have held back, sensing resistance from others, or feeling that your curiosity made people uncomfortable. But that curiosity was not SLUCHAIHIKAKINO. It was guidance. And perhaps the most powerful sign of all was the feeling of being different. Not in a way that separated you from others, but in a way that made you feel like you were seeing things from a different perspective. Like you were aware of layers that others either couldn't see or chose not to acknowledge. That sense of being slightly out of place, even in familiar environments, that was not a flaw. It was clarity trying to emerge. All of these signs were leading you here. Because when a truth is meant to be revealed, the soul begins preparing long before the mind understands. It sends signals, creates awareness, builds a foundation so that when the moment finally arrives, you are ready to receive it. And now, you are standing in that moment. But understand this: recognizing the signs is only part of the journey. Accepting what they mean is something deeper. It requires you to trust what you have felt, even when it challenges what you were taught. It asks you to honor your inner knowing, even if it leads you into unfamiliar territory. This is where your strength becomes essential. Because as the truth continues to unfold, you may feel moments of hesitation. A part of you may question whether it is easier to ignore what you are beginning to see, to return to what felt stable, even if it was incomplete. But that path is no longer available to you. Not because you are being forced, but because you have outgrown it. Once awareness enters, it does not leave. Once truth begins to reveal itself, it does not return to silence. You are moving forward, whether slowly or boldly, but always forward. And you are not doing this alone. The presence of Archangel Michael continues to surround you, steady and protective. In moments where doubt tries to rise, his energy grounds you. In moments where fear attempts to take hold, his presence reminds you that you are safe. He is not only guarding you from what is outside, he is also strengthening what is within. Because this journey is not just about discovering a hidden truth. It is about rediscovering yourself. The signs you experienced were not only pointing toward a secret, they were pointing toward your own awakening, toward a deeper understanding of who you are beyond what you were told, beyond what was shaped by silence and secrecy. And as this awareness grows, something begins to shift inside you. You start to trust yourself more. You begin to listen to your intuition without questioning it. You feel a quiet confidence replacing the uncertainty that once lingered. This is transformation. This is what happens when truth begins to align with your spirit. But the path ahead still holds something more, something that will bring everything you have felt, everything you have questioned, into a clearer and more undeniable focus. Because the truth is no longer just surrounding you. It is about to reveal itself more fully. And when it does, there will be no more doubt about what was hidden, or why it was kept from you. Something is shifting again, but this time, it is no longer subtle. It is no longer distant or unclear. What once felt like fragments, feelings, dreams, instincts, is now beginning to take shape. The truth that was hidden is no longer just surrounding you, it is starting to emerge. You may feel it as a sudden clarity, almost like pieces of a puzzle locking into place. Thoughts that once felt scattered are now forming connections. Memories are rising, not as random flashes but as meaningful reflections. And within those reflections, something deeper is being revealed. The secret is no longer just a possibility. It is becoming real. But as this truth begins to surface, it may not arrive in the way you expected. It may not come as a single, clear statement. Instead, it unfolds layer by layer, each one bringing you closer, each one asking you to see more clearly than before. And with each layer, there is emotion. You may feel a sense of shock, not because the truth is entirely unfamiliar, but because it confirms what you once doubted. There may be a feeling of betrayal, not necessarily directed at one person, but at the realization that something so important was kept from you. There may even be a quiet grief for the version of your story that you believed was complete, but now understand was only partial. These emotions are not sluchikakino. They are part of the awakening. Because when truth rises after being hidden for so long, it does not just inform you, it transforms you. It changes how you see your past. It reshapes how you understand your experiences. And it opens a door to a deeper awareness of who you are. The secret you are approaching is tied to identity. Not just in a surface-level way, but in a way that reaches into the foundation of how you have understood yourself and your place within your family. There is something about your origins, your connections, or the story that was told about you that is now being brought into question. And as this realization begins to take hold, you may feel resistance. A part of you may want to hold on to what is familiar, even if it no longer fully aligns with what you are seeing. This is natural. The mind seeks stability, and when something challenges its foundation, it tries to protect itself. But your spirit is moving differently. It is not afraid of this truth. It recognizes it. It had been waiting for it. And now, it is guiding you to stay open, to continue forward, even if the path feels uncertain. Because what is being revealed is not meant to confuse you. It is meant to complete your understanding. There may have been someone in your family whose story was never fully told. Someone whose role was minimized, altered, or completely erased from the narrative you were given. Or there may have been a decision made, one that changed the course of your life in ways you were never informed about. This is where the truth begins to sharpen. You are not imagining the gaps. You are seeing them. And as you allow yourself to acknowledge what is rising, you begin to step out of illusion and into clarity. Not a clarity that answers everything immediately, but one that removes the fog that once surrounded you. This is the moment where awareness becomes undeniable. And with that awareness comes power. Because once you see the truth, it cannot be hidden from you again. It cannot be reshaped or softened to fit a narrative that no longer holds. You are now standing in a place where you can begin to choose how you respond, how you process, how you move forward. But before that choice fully forms, there is one more presence that must enter. The third angel has not yet spoken, but it is near. Its role is different from the others. It does not only reveal or break, it connects. It brings understanding to what has been uncovered. It shows you how this truth is not just part of your past, but part of your purpose. And that is where everything begins to come together. But for now, stay with this moment. Allow yourself to feel what is rising without judgment. Do not rush to conclusions, and do not turn away from what is becoming clear. You are not being overwhelmed. You are being awakened. And standing with you, steady and unwavering, is Archangel Michael. His presence remains your anchor, ensuring that even as emotions rise and truth unfolds, you remain grounded, protected, and guided. You are not losing your identity. You are discovering it. And what is about to be revealed next will bring a clarity so deep, so undeniable, that everything you have experienced up to this point will finally begin to make sense. There is a presence descending now, calm, powerful, and unmistakably clear. It does not rush. It does not overwhelm. It arrives with purpose, with precision, with a knowing that everything has led to this exact moment. The third messenger has entered, and with it comes something different from what you have felt before. This is the revealer of destiny. While the first angel uncovered truth and the second broke the chains that held it, this third presence brings understanding. It connects what was hidden to who you are becoming. It shows you that this revelation is not just about the past. It is about your future, your purpose, and the path that was always meant for you. And as this angel draws near, something within you begins to settle. Not because all questions have been answered, but because a deeper clarity is forming. You are starting to see that this truth, as heavy and unexpected as it may feel, is not sluchakino. It is part of a greater design, one that has been unfolding long before you were aware of it. This is where everything begins to align. The pieces you have been gathering, the signs, the emotions, the realizations, are no longer separate. They are forming a picture. And within that picture, you begin to understand something profound. What was hidden from you was not meant to keep you small, it was meant to prepare you for something greater. You may feel a shift in perspective now. What once felt like confusion is beginning to transform into insight. What once felt like loss is beginning to reveal purpose. Even the pain, the uncertainty, the unanswered questions, they are taking on new meaning. Because the truth is not here to destroy your foundation. It is here to rebuild it stronger, clearer, and aligned with who you truly are. The third angel reveals that your role was never meant to be passive in this story. You were not meant to simply inherit silence or carry forward what was hidden. You were meant to uncover it, to understand it, and to rise beyond it. This is your awakening. And within this awakening, there is a calling to see yourself not as someone who was left in the dark, but as someone who was chosen to bring light. A calling to step into awareness, to break patterns, to move forward with clarity instead of confusion. This is where your destiny begins to reveal itself. Because everything you have experienced, the questions, the feelings of being different, the sense that something was missing, was guiding you here. It was shaping you into someone who could handle truth, who could face it without turning away, who could transform it into something meaningful. You are not sluchakino in this position. You are aligned with it. And as this realization deepens, something else begins to happen, something powerful. You begin to release the weight of what was hidden. Not because it no longer matters, but because it no longer defines you. The truth becomes something you understand, not something that controls you. It becomes part of your awareness, not a burden you carry. This is freedom. And in this moment of clarity, the presence of Archangel Michael becomes even more profound. He stands not only as your protector, but as your guide, ensuring that as you step into this new understanding, you do so with strength, with courage, and with a sense of peace. His energy surrounds you like a shield of light, reminding you that you are not alone in this transformation, that every step you take toward truth is supported, protected, and guided by forces greater than you can see. You are being led into alignment. But listen carefully, this moment also carries a choice. Now that you are beginning to understand, now that the truth is no longer hidden, you must decide how you will move forward. Will you embrace this awareness fully? Will you allow it to reshape your path? Or will you hold back, staying close to what once felt safe, even if it was incomplete? This choice is yours. But know this: the path of truth leads to freedom, to clarity, to purpose. And the path of avoidance leads back into silence. You have come too far to return now. So take a breath, feel the presence around you, and recognize what is unfolding within you. This is not the end of something. It is the beginning of everything falling into place. Type "I step into my purpose" in the comments if you feel this truth aligning within you. Blessing code 888 is now activated over your path. And as you stand in this moment of awakening, understand that your response carries power beyond what you can see. When you choose to support this message, you are not simply giving. You are becoming part of a divine flow that reaches others who are still searching, still questioning, still waiting for their own moment of truth. The word declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over," and this is your moment to activate that promise. If your spirit is stirred, release your seed through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link in the description, also available through the QR code within this space. This is not SLUCHAIKAKINO. It is a divine alignment between your obedience and heaven's movement. As you give, you are opening doors not only for others, but for your own life to receive increase. Step forward in faith. Act now. Now that the truth has begun to take form within you, a deeper question rises to the surface. Not just what was hidden, but why it was hidden from you in the first place. And this question carries weight, because its answer is not simple, nor is it singular. The reasons are layered, human, complex. As you begin to look at this more clearly, you may feel a shift in your emotions. What once felt like confusion or even betrayal may now begin to open into something more nuanced. Because the truth you are uncovering was not buried in isolation. It was buried within the hearts and decisions of people who were navigating their own fears, their own limitations, and their own understanding of what was right or wrong. This does not excuse what was hidden, but it explains it. There are moments in life where people make decisions not based on truth, but based on survival, emotional survival, social survival, even spiritual confusion. And in those moments they choose what feels safest, not what is most honest. That is where this began. The secret you are uncovering was likely hidden at a time when revealing it would have caused destruction, perhaps conflict, rejection, or consequences that someone felt unprepared to face. So instead of bringing it into the light, it was covered, protected, placed behind a wall of silence that was meant to contain it. But what was meant to protect also concealed. And over time, that concealment became a pattern. It may have started with one person, but it did not end there. Others became aware, and instead of breaking the silence, they upheld it. Not always out of agreement, but out of fear. Fear of reopening something painful. Fear of destabilizing what had already been built. Fear of facing the truth themselves. So the silence continued. And as it passed from one generation to the next, it became less of a choice and more of an unspoken rule. Something that was simply not talked about. Something that everyone adjusted around without fully acknowledging. Until you. Because you were never meant to inherit that silence. You were meant to question it. And now, as you stand in this moment of understanding, it becomes clear that what was hidden from you was not SLUCHAIKAKINO. It was intentional, but not necessarily malicious. It was shaped by fear, by circumstance, by decisions made in moments where clarity was lacking. This realization may soften something within you. It may not remove the impact of what was hidden, but it allows you to see it from a place of awareness rather than reaction. It gives you the ability to understand without being consumed by anger, to process without losing your sense of balance. Because this is not just about uncovering a secret. It is about breaking a cycle. The moment you understand why something was hidden, you step out of the pattern that kept it hidden. You no longer operate from the same place of fear or avoidance. You begin to move differently with intention, with clarity, with truth. And this is where your role becomes powerful. You are not here to repeat what was done before you. You are here to transform it. That does not mean confrontation or convict. It does not mean forcing answers or demanding explanations before you are ready. It means holding the truth within yourself with strength and wisdom, allowing it to guide your actions rather than control your emotions. This is maturity. This is growth. And this is exactly where you are being led. Because the truth you now carry is not just information. It is responsibility. Not the burden of fixing everything, but the responsibility of choosing what you will do with what you know. Will you allow it to divide you internally, or will you allow it to deepen your understanding? Will you let it create distance, or will you use it to create clarity within yourself? These choices are yours, and you are capable of making them from a place of strength. As you move through this understanding, the presence of Archangel Michael remains constant. He stands not only as a protector of truth, but as a guide in how you hold that truth. His presence reminds you that clarity does not require chaos, and that understanding does not require you to lose your peace. You are allowed to know and still remain grounded. You are allowed to understand and still move forward with grace. This is where the deeper transformation begins. Because now, the truth is no longer just something you are discovering. It is something you are learning how to carry. And as you continue forward, one final message is approaching, one that carries urgency, clarity, and a call that cannot be ignored. There is a shift in the atmosphere now, something stronger, more commanding, impossible to ignore. The gentle unfolding of truth, the breaking of chains, the clarity of understanding, all of it has led to this moment. And now, a voice rises with authority, with urgency, with undeniable power. This is not a whisper. This is a warning. The presence of Archangel Michael stands before you in full strength, not only as a protector, but as a messenger delivering what must be heard. His energy is firm, unwavering, filled with a force that does not come to frighten you, but to awaken you fully. Because now, you stand at a critical point. You have seen the signs. You have felt the truth. You have begun to understand what was hidden and why. But knowing is not the same as acting. Awareness alone does not complete the journey. There is a step that must follow, and that step requires courage. This is where many turn away, not because they are weak, but because truth demands change. It asks you to move differently, to think differently, to no longer ignore what has been revealed. And for some, that feels overwhelming. It feels easier to retreat, to return to what is familiar, even if it was incomplete. But listen carefully, this is where the warning comes. If you turn away now, if you choose to ignore what has been placed before you, the silence you have just broken will begin to rebuild itself. Not in the same way, but in a form that keeps you disconnected from your full understanding. The clarity you have gained will begin to fade, not because it was false, but because it was not embraced. Truth, when rejected, does not disappear. It waits, but it does not remain as accessible. This is why this moment is so important. You are not being forced, but you are being called to step forward, to accept what has been revealed, and to allow it to shape your path moving forward. Not in fear, not in confusion, but in strength. Because everything you have received was given to you for a reason, and that reason requires action. This does not mean immediate confrontation or drastic decisions. It means alignment. It means allowing your thoughts, your choices, and your direction to reflect the truth you now carry. It means no longer pretending that you do not see what has been shown to you. Because once truth enters your awareness, you are responsible for how you respond to it. And this is where your power lies. Not in what was hidden, but in what you choose to do now. You may feel hesitation. That is natural. You may feel uncertain about what steps to take next. That is part of the process. But do not confuse uncertainty with inability. You are capable of moving forward, even if the path is not fully visible yet. Because you are being guided. The presence of Archangel Michael is not passive in this moment. He stands as a force of protection and direction, ensuring that as you take your steps, you are not led into harm, but into alignment. His guidance is not always loud, but it is always present, steady, firm, and clear for those who choose to listen. And here is what you must understand: this warning is not about danger coming towards you. It is about opportunity standing before you. An opportunity to break what was carried for generations. An opportunity to step into clarity where there was once confusion. An opportunity to live in truth rather than in partial understanding. But opportunities, when ignored, do not remain open forever. This is your moment. You have been brought here not not by chance, but by divine alignment. Everything you have experienced up to this point has prepared you for this exact position. And now, you are being asked to decide, not with fear but with intention. Will you move forward with what you know? Will you allow this truth to guide you into a new level of awareness? Or will you step back into what is familiar, even if it no longer fits who you are becoming? This is the choice that stands before you, and whatever you choose will shape what comes next. But know this: you are not being left alone to figure it out. You are supported. You are protected. And you are stronger than you realize. So stand in this moment. Feel the weight of it, but do not let it overwhelm you. Let it ground you. Let it remind you that what you are experiencing is real, significant, and meant for you. Because what comes next will require not just understanding, but decision. And that decision will change everything. You have arrived at a moment that feels both heavy and sacred, a moment where everything you have seen, felt, and understood now gathers into one point of decision. This is not SLUCHAEKAKINO. This is the turning point, the place where truth meets choice. Until now, you have been receiving. You have been guided through layers of awareness, shown what was hidden, helped to understand why it was concealed, and protected as it all unfolded. But now, the direction begins to shift. Now you must choose. Not in a rushed or pressured way, but in a way that is honest and aligned with what has awakened within you. Because the truth you carry is no longer something external. It has become part of your awareness. And once truth becomes internal, it begins to influence everything: your thoughts, your emotions, your perspective, your path. This is where your power is activated. You may feel a quiet tension within you right now, a pull in two different directions. One path feels familiar, stable, known. It is the path of silence, of maintaining what has always been, of not disturbing the structure that has existed for so long. The other path feels uncertain but real. It is the path of truth, of awareness, of stepping into a version of yourself that is no longer willing to live within partial understanding. It is not always the easier path, but it is the one that leads to clarity, to freedom, to alignment with who you truly are. And standing between these two paths is you. This is not about choosing between right and wrong. This is about choosing between comfort and truth. Comfort will ask you to stay where things feel predictable, even if they are incomplete. It will whisper that it is easier not to ask more questions, not to look deeper, not to disrupt what has already been established. Truth, on the other hand, will call you forward. It will not force you, but it will not leave you unchanged either. It will ask you to be honest with yourself, to acknowledge what you now see, and to move in a way that reflects that awareness. It may challenge you, but it will also strengthen you. This is where transformation happens. Because the moment you choose truth, even quietly within yourself, something shifts. You step out of the pattern that was handed to you, and you begin to create your own path, one that is not built on silence, but on understanding. And that path is where your freedom lies. You may wonder what this choice will look like in practical terms. What actions you should take, what words you should speak, what step you should follow. But understand this, the choice begins internally. It begins with acceptance. Acceptance of what has been revealed. Acceptance of what you feel. Acceptance of the fact that you are no longer the same person you were before this truth came into your awareness. Once that acceptance is established, everything else begins to align. Your actions will follow your clarity. Your decisions will reflect your understanding. Your path will begin to unfold naturally, step by step. You do not need to have all the answers right now. You only need to choose not to turn away. And as you stand in this moment of decision, you are not standing alone. The presence of Archangel Michael remains with you, steady and unwavering. He does not make the choice for you, but he strengthens you as you make it. His presence reminds you that choosing truth does not leave you vulnerable. It aligns you with protection, with clarity, with purpose. He stands as a witness to this moment, a witness to your awakening, a witness to your courage. Because it takes courage to step out of what is familiar. It takes courage to face what was hidden and to choose not to ignore it. It takes courage to move forward without fully knowing what lies ahead. But that courage is already within you. You have felt it in every moment that led you here, in every question you asked, in every feeling you could not ignore, in every step you took, even when you did not fully understand why. This is who you are. Someone who does not turn away from truth. Someone who is willing to grow, to understand, to transform. And now, as this moment settles within you, the choice becomes clear. Not because it is easy, but because it is aligned. You are not choosing to disrupt your life. You are choosing to live it fully. And as you take this step, even if it is quiet, even if it is internal, something begins to open ahead of you, a path that is no longer clouded by silence, but illuminated by truth. This is where everything changes. Because what comes next is not about revelation, it is about peace. Peace is entering now, not the kind that comes from avoiding truth, but the kind that rises after truth has been faced, accepted, and understood. You may feel it gently settling within you, like a quiet calm after a long storm. The tension that once surrounded your thoughts is beginning to soften. The confusion that once clouded your mind is beginning to clear. This is not SLUCHADICACLIENO. This is what happens when truth finds its place within you. You have walked through something profound. You have faced what was hidden, allowed it to unfold, and stood in a space that many are never willing to enter. And now, you are no longer standing at the edge of uncertainty. You are standing in a place of awareness, of clarity, of quiet strength. The secret that once lived in silence no longer holds power over you. It exists, yes, but it does not control you. It does not define you. It does not limit who you are or what you are becoming. Instead, it has become something else, something that has shaped your understanding, deepened your awareness, and strengthened your connection to your own truth. This is your freedom, and with that freedom comes peace. Not because everything is suddenly perfect, or because every question hath been answered, but because you are no longer searching in the dark. You are no longer feeling something without understanding it. You are no longer carrying a weight without knowing its origin. You have seen it. You have understood it. And now you have risen beyond it. There may still be moments ahead where you reflect on what has been revealed. Moments where emotions return, where questions resurface, where you continue to process what this means for your life. That is part of the journey. Healing and understanding do not happen in a single moment. They unfold over time. But now, you walk that path with awareness, and that changes everything. Because awareness brings peace. It allows you to move forward without confusion, to make choices without hesitation, to stand in your life with a sense of grounding that was not there before. You are no longer reacting to what you do not understand. You are responding from a place of clarity. This is where your true strength lies. And as you stand in this peaceful awareness, the presence of Archangel Michael remains with you, not in urgency now, not in warning, but in reassurance. His energy surrounds you like a calm protection, a reminder that you are safe, that you are guided, and that you are never alone in what you carry. He has walked with you through revelation, and now he stands with you in peace. Let that settle into your spirit. You are not broken by what you discovered. You are strengthened by it. You are not lost in what was hidden. You are found in what has been revealed. And as you move forward from this moment, carry this truth with you, not as a burden, but as a light. Let it guide you, not weigh you down. Let it remind you of your strength, your awareness, and your ability to face what others could not. This is your new beginning. Not a beginning without a past, but a beginning that understands the past without being controlled by. A beginning that is rooted in truth, in clarity, in peace. Take a deep breath and feel it. This is where you are meant to be. Type "I walk in truth and peace" in the comments if you receive this message fully. Lesson code 1444 is now activated over your life. And as this peace settles over your spirit, hear this clearly: the same light that revealed truth to you is now flowing through you to reach others who are still waiting in silence. The Lord declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." And this moment is your invitation to become a vessel of that living promise. Say within yourself, "I release so others may receive," and step into this divine exchange. When you sow through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link placed in the description and shown as a QR code, you are opening rivers of truth for souls who are still searching in darkness. This is not just giving. It is a prophetic act of alignment with heaven's movement in this very hour. As you release your seed, may doors open, may peace multiply, and may abundance return to you, pressed down and overflowing. Step forward in faith. Act now.